was it? Which one? It's it's networking chip or blue. No, it's Bluetooth chip died, right?
Yeah.
And apparently, before it does a hardware update, right? Oh no, the software update, it checks your hardware,
Oh,
but
makes
not
sense.
before it actually starts the update.
Oh no.
Oh yeah, so it break my old console,
Yeah.
and I believe we just went live.
Oh, we've been
Uh,
live. Yeah, but hi everybody and
uh,
welcome to the Dreamlands. My name is Philip and I am Long Lost Lore, aka the Senate. And I'm joined by some of our players tonight. Say, it's good to be here, players.
yeah, it's good to be here.
It's
Players.
fine.
Other player.
It's good to be
Yeah.
here, player. Hey, player, it's good to be here. I'm drinking a non-alcoholic Negroni right now.
Oh, how is it?
Well, so I've gotten this at two different restaurants. Where the menu claims it's using these non-alcoholic spirits, this brand.
Yeah.
The first time I got it, it was like incredibly good. The second time I got it, I was like, this seems too sweet compared to last time. This feels just weaker than those were. Maybe I don't know what they did.
What is in
It's
the...
good. It's just it's now there's some bitterness to it because of the fake Campari, but it's
Okay.
it could have a little more oomph to it. Yes, Pierce has been on a live streaming spree. He was telling us about that earlier, Sophia.
Oh, I forgot. I also I've just been going on Instagram Live when I make coffee. So I did that while I made coffee, because I actually just made coffee with pancakes and talked about the end of Here Be Dragons because I thought it was such a fascinating end to a campaign, and it's the longest campaign I've ever been in.
Here We Dragons is the longest one.
Yeah, 66 sessions is the longest I've ever been in one.
It is interesting to think how like our proof thing. I think it was like 25 sessions or something, which at the time.
And prior to
felt
that,
like
the
a lot.
longest thing I'd been in was a Storm King's Thunder campaign that was like 54 sessions.
Wow, for one book.
Well, yes, because
Did they
I
do all
like
the side quests?
basically what happened was I had complained about some of the writing of some of the previous books that bothered me, of like specifically it was Princes of the Apocalypse, where the idea is like all of these elemental princes are coming to take over the world, and you stop one of them, and then the other three go, yeah, you know what, let's go home. And that bothered me, and so I was like, I wish that I would rather we like have some way of actually dealing with all of the threats. And my DM, she interpreted that as like, oh, so you want to fight all the giants? So we fought all of them. We fought every giant on our way to the final fight of that.
Was that
so,
an
yeah.
EK or was that
The last battle
It
has to be
was-
all the big bosses back, like a boss rush at the very
Yeah.
end in there.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was a DM from EK, but it wasn't at EK. We had
Nice.
moved to her house for this.
There you go. Wow, that is. I am more impressed with that campaign being that long.
Well, and it was 54 sessions in person every week. Like we met every week. It's wild.
Remember those days.
Yeah.
Yeah, wasn't that great?
This is good, by the way. I don't want to act like this isn't good, but it's. I was wanting. Maybe
That
I should.
is like one of the only ones, like one of the only contexts I can think of. I'm like, yeah, that's when you could do like a non-alcoholic thing and really, because if you just get that like orangey bitterness,
Yeah.
right, of the
I
Campari.
I might double up on Campari the next time I do it, because
Right.
the Negroni is famously a three equal parts cocktail, but I might do double Campari next time
That makes sense.
just to give this a thing. But anyway,
Because there's a lot of times where like I don't know. The thing, can I ask you? Well, because you actually, I'm not going to ask you this. I'll just vent this
okay.
this thing that bothers me about the non-alcoholic spirits.
Mhm.
They're so goddamn expensive for no reason.
Yeah, it's. Oh, these were so expensive. I'm mad.
Like, there's no reason in the fucking world your non-alcoholic gin thing that you're not distilling, that you're going through no distillate process, should cost the same amount of money as a 12-year-old bottle of scotch.
Yeah,
They are ludicrously expensive.
they're very expensive. I'm sure it's kind of just a. Well, I mean, it's also like, and I mean, I guess I will say, usually if you go to like a nice restaurant, the fancy mocktails tend to be a little less than the real alcohol, but like not insanely as much, less, whatever. Enough about alcohol, or lack thereof. fake Vahal. Let's talk about dice
Yeah,
from
let's
the.
talk about the game where I play as a bartender who serves alcoholic
Well,
beverages.
first we're gonna do this silliness.
Sure.
But you are the only ones who have the opportunity to win today, so Kevin can't have a victory. I mean, unless he shows up right now, which is plausible but improbable. There's a 6. This is in the blood set.
Ooh, that one looks great.
Yeah, the blood ones are, so far we have D20, D8, and D6. The bat features a D6, a D4, and a D12. Those have shown up. Mist, we have 3 mist. We have and the mist symbol is just, mist. We have a D6, a percentile, and a D8, and then the wolf actually has wolf symbol being this guy right there. The wolf actually has a good number. Wolf has 5 dice already: D4, D8, D10, D12, and D20. So, you may guess what it is. I will refresh your memory on any of those if you want.
I'm gonna try to repeat what I did last night, which was, I think, was D4 of blood.
Blood D4. Kyle, you want to make a guess?
There's nothing that's Sherlock themed, right?
Sadly, nothing Sherlock themed. I would say the closest of them would be Mist because of the opium he smokes.
How about blood D20? You said only blood D6 was done, right?
No, blood D20 has showed up as well.
Oh.
We have blood D6, blood D8, and blood D20. So Pierce is going blood D4. So you could stick with
Blood
as well.
percentile.
Blood percent. What is my blood percent?
What is your blood percent? Hopefully 100%.
Yeah, hopefully 100%.
I don't. No. You don't want to be 100% blood. You have so many
No,
other
but
things.
you want to have
be.
100% of your remaining blood within your body.
But I'm saying, what percent of your body should be your blood? Ooh, what is it? I think it's bat. I'm so sorry. It is a percentile die, but it is the bat percent.
I'm halfway there.
You're the closest you could have been. It was a 50, but thank you for playing. No cool benefits today. Happy Halloween.
What prizes did we not get? A new con?
Some minor mechanical benefit, extra power today, or I don't know what it would have been. So friends, let's talk about what's been going on in this here game. Things have been complex ever since these sort of, well, things have been complex the whole time, but they've reached a new level in which there has been a concern that helping Dracula means helping the Nightmare Rider. Dracula is maintaining friendly relations with you all, but there's a possibility that is all to go away. You did hold a secret meeting with Maisie on the beach, which went sort of well, even though she did try to murder everyone. And then last week you then went and encountered Dracula again in a Cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs kind of vibe, in the Otenverse, where at the end of that meeting, aside from the ways that Asha insisted on enshrining herself into legend, you guys kind of were discussing how you would move, because Dracula's saying Henry is saying we need to do something against the Nightmare Rider. We need to make a bigger thing, and if you are uncomfortable teaming with Maisie, Henry is now sort of expressing the idea that Maisie is less a malevolent entity and more just kind of an eternal force representing a certain kind of fear, and that Maisie, perhaps that means Maisie is. He's kind of saying, so maybe it would be better to have Maisie, but she is still a scary thing, and you don't want her to, So he's perfectly happy not to work with her, but he's a lot more open to it now. In any event, he sort of was saying, what is it you guys would sort of want to do, and various other options were floated. Zekas, having connected with Echerov and Netley in the Thermae Belluarum, was kind of saying, oh, well, maybe he's someone we could reach out to. Of course, there were some other people who you've had maybe some encounters with, one being Igor, one being Sherlock Holmes, and Henry has kind of gone back to Henry has gone to the divinations, and we will see what he has learned, even though everyone watching was probably voting, and so they already know what the divinations are going to be telling him. But that is where we left off. Anything else? Any other key points leading up to this? If this were the previously on, are there any other scenes you would project that should be included in that?
Um, no, you already mentioned Asha before we even said anything.
That's the first thing I mentioned, just because it was like, I think I just want to. I need to make sure that I'm always framing that as something that KJ did.
Yeah,
I need to.
yeah, it's
I was not taking things in that direction. That's just where KJ takes.
it's funny.
Oh yeah, 3 days.
So,
Sorry.
right, like on Fridays, you make Jeremy have sex with lots of strange things. On Mondays, KJ is on a hell-bent thing to have sex with as many hairy cryptids as possible.
What is interesting though is I think she genuinely isn't like that. Isn't her plan to start out with? It's just what winds up happening. I think that's interesting.
I think it like happened sort of by accident one time with like the Sasquatch or something behind them, and then it's just,
I guess she actually doesn't hook
now-
up with them so much as that they're really into her.
they're really into her. She like tries to get numbers.
She does.
Like it will happen later. Last time was the one where she finally realized I can't call
Yeah.
people multiversally. So I got to get this job done.
This is the only.
If I want
time
this
for
to
it.
happen, it's got to happen today. It's got to happen on the mission.
Yeah, it's pretty much the situation. So with that in mind, we will begin. And the first thing I'd like you both to do is please roll 4d8, so that we may set your luck for the day.
Hey, 2 7s.
Looks like a
right.
funny day to me.
3 8s.
3 8s, sir. You have
That's
5
these.
luck. We will
Real
not roll.
bad.
I'm sure that I will
I will
forget to
never-
ask for a luck roll.
I will
But
never ask a question that will require a luck roll. And
yeah.
we're back up at full power, yeah?
Yeah. Back at full power. In this game, it is very uncommon for you not to be. We're almost always checking in a couple days later.
I still have 9 remaining knowledge. I should use those on something.
Oh yeah, we should make sure we're real smart about something. Let me see. Where is So, as you all as you guys are sort of preparing for whatever your next mission is, I think you will notice Henry kind of just like walking in and shaking his head in his usual sort of, kind of entering the park and coming to find you guys, and he seems just...
What is wrong here, Henry? You seem out of sorts.
Let's see. We want to talk about how the dragons who were supposed to steal a penumbra for me, rather than giving it to me as was the deal, instead used it to literally take over the financial world of their universe, and now one of them keeps asking me to help him like set up some counter to that, which means the dragons aren't even on. I can't even.
Wait, not to speak from a different universe here to you, Henry, but wouldn't it have been? It was all dragons, right? So wouldn't it be all universes?
No, I said multiple times it's everyone in the Wish World cluster.
Okay. I feel slightly better now.
Yeah. When Huz's power does not extend past that.
Okay.
But he's basically, and now one of them's asking me for help with some, I don't know, some of the magical charm he wants to do, and I can't trust any of them now, so whatever. Point being, that's just another issue. The bigger problem is,
Got trust issues? Welcome to the club, buddy.
yes, precisely. Zekas, unfortunately for you, I'll just sort of tell you this directly. The sort of divinations did not put much stock in the idea of speaking to Etrov and Netley. They also, he kind of glances over at Igor.
Did literally no one meet Etrov and Netley except for Zekas?
That is accurate, yes. Well, no, I think the rest of you might have encountered him briefly, but Zekas had a long conversation with him. You all saw him in a thing. Zekas talked to him solo, so it makes sense. Zekas was saying this is our plan, but Henry was saying sort of, that is a mission that I think is more sort of focused and smaller scale, and we need a bigger move. I will tell you, however, he kind of glances over and makes sure Igor's elsewhere. Divinations remain opposed to putting our trust in Igor. Though I am most curious about what sort of dread sciences and new techniques he could provide us with, it does appear that that is probably not our best bet. So,
Yeah.
with all that in mind,
He does seem to be a little off.
yes, which means, unfortunately, divinations are strongly in favour of you seeking out our old friend Sherlock Holmes.
Oh, great.
Not
Divinations agree with me.
Oh, right. Well, okay, fair enough. I find Sherlock Holmes incredibly irritating. I think that in many occasions he did not
seems-
know what he was saying beforehand, but he certainly has a sort of strategic mind, and he may have acquired new information. He is a master mage after all. So, your mission,
Should we choose to accept it?
should you choose, well, yes, I suppose. They're always should you choose to accept it. That's sort of that's just like a given. You never have to do these missions, of course. You're always welcome.
Oh,
to
really?
say-
I
Yeah.
I really feel like we've had to do them every time, and that's why we get to stay within the protection of the Dreamlands.
No, you're always welcome to decline. In fact, Cosmonauts, I know sort of this is not the purpose of this conversation. I want to just point out how many times I told you you did not have to come with me to the Dreadlands when we went to have our little meeting with Maisie. Do you remember how many times I said, you don't have to go, you can decline this?
Yes, but it was kind of in a way where it's like don't come, but I really want you to come. I kind of had that sort of feel.
Genuinely not okay. All right.
You know, like, oh, I don't want you to come. Like,
Right, but one time,
but, I could tell you really wanted us to come.
okay. So
You know what? You can't let someone go journey somewhere like that dangerous alone.
Well, true. It would be inadvisable to, but I'm simply saying the missions are never compulsory. And I cannot guarantee I can return you to your home plane instantly at any point, but any of you can always be returned to your home plane whenever you'd like to be, just so you know. I'm happy to do that. No one is here against their will. No one is here sort of compulsorily. I'll get you back anyone who wants to go back. With sort of the exception of Igor specifically, in fact.
Are we done with that?
God, I hope so. Dominic, yes, please. Questions? Anything? What's going on?
No. No questions.
So,
Shall we go pick up Sherlock from where?
well, I
Without
noticed.
which places?
Well,
I noticed there are a few of us here. Is this how much people dislike this Sherlock Holmes?
No,
yes,
Zekas is right
well,
there.
No,
Isn't he coming?
Zekas has done the back away. He's like, can't touch the thing.
Asha? Where?
Asha's just twerking.
I can't find
halters
Asha.
right now. Yeah,
Is she hiding?
Actually, Asha does not oppose to Sherlock Holmes, but I think she's just busy today.
Oh.
So, I'm going to send the two of you. You're going to, well, you're actually going somewhere rather interesting. You're going to a world we've yet to visit, but one that is sort of sprung up in importance of late. You're going to a multiverse called the Dealers Cluster. It is a
Cluster.
realm of, and Zekas would so want to be there because he would assume it's a casino. It is not. It is basically a multiverse that is sort of, it's codified in types of fate and arranged almost around a deck of cards. One thing that is notable about this multiverse is that the sort of inner planes, as some of you, if you understand sort of the cosmology of how many of these multiverses are set up, there are often a sort of elemental plane, sort of plane of air, a plane of earth, a plane of water, a plane of fire. This one, the inner planes, are the plane of wands, the plane of cups, the plane of pentacles, and the plane of swords.
Well,
They
it
are
is
sort of-
Arcana.
Well, yes, they're the suits of the sort of minor arcana of certain kinds of oracle decks.
Right.
Precisely. So, and they do correspond, sort of you're going to the plane of swords, which represents air. So it's sort of, it is like the plane of air, but it's not like a typical plane
Oh,
of air.
that is much better because I would not like to go to a plane made entirely of swords.
Yeah, that'd be fantastic.
Yes. Pentacles represents earth, wands, fire, and cups, water, unsurprisingly. So you're going to go there. Sherlock, I think, is involved in some sort of sword fighting contest.
Is it the same Sherlock that we left behind, or or did you search for a specific different Sherlock?
They all know. They all know what the others know. This is
Right. That's how master mages work, of course.
This is just the divinations are suggesting that we go find this
Okay.
one. So you'll go there. You do not need to bring him back with you. You may bring him back with you, but you do not need to do so.
So our goal is just to convince him to.
Your goal
Eat
is
us?
to politely nod when he insists that he was expecting you coming, that he already has a plan. But your goal is to sort of see if he is amenable to working with us, if he sort of shares our understanding of who the true foes are, and if he's willing to help us defeat whatever it is the Nightmare Rider has been up to. Or if not even defeat the Nightmare Rider, just, hand him a defeat, not even necessarily destroy him. Oh, look, Zekas actually is willing to talk to us. That's very good news. I'm very happy to hear that.
Oh.
Oh, good, Zekas. We thought you were not going to come because you hate Sherlock Holmes like everyone else.
I have no problem with Sherlock.
So
We left him behind.
Are you sure?
I had, yes, in fact, you did think. I had mentioned we had mentioned that Henry was apologizing to Zekas for, he was apologizing to Zekas that, like, because Zekas was the only person who spoke to Etrov and Netley, the divinations were not really... the divinations had, like, one tiny little whisper of helping out Etrov at the very end.
Are you drinking
I am
old
the
fashioned?
sole.
Oh,
I am
you were
the
just
sole
sulking
window.
then.
I'm the
Because
sole window on the stream. It's all me.
You are the soul window. That is,
And I am willing to carry show, but I feel like everyone else should have
Oh,
faith.
I know what happened. Damn it. Okay, I'm gonna need to...
All right. By the
Guys,
way,
everything's fine. Don't you worry.
sure. Not that it's
I-
related to anything, but let's just say that in my time with the mob, I have a knowledge a bit about stacking decks of cards. For
I
reasons.
think you certainly would, yes. But in any case, so basically, you are going to a plane called the Dealer's Cluster, and you are going to one of the inner planes, specifically the
Casino.
the Plane of Swords. So this is the really bad news for Kevin, not Zekas, is that this is very much not a casino cards. It's like tarot cards. So less of a... It's not no game, but it's less game. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
We can gamble with tarot cards. It's fine.
I cannot wait until Philip goes so far as to say we're going to like a Cancino realm, and it's just like based around the actor Richard Cancino.
There you go.
Now that is a deep cut of a reference.
But it's just like that. I just can't wait till it gets that much. He's like, I know it sounds like we're going to a casino realm, but we're still not.
How about we go to Encino
Encino?
and hang out there?
Yeah.
Or a
Encino Man?
A Casio realm? Casio? More like Casino. This is not... This was
Casios are great watches.
This was a non-alcoholic Negroni, by the way, Kevin. I bought some really expensive non-alcoholic spirits to have a non-alcoholic Negroni. I wish it had been more bitter. KJ would be so mad if she were here. So
we're gonna go save Sherlock finally.
well, sort of Sherlock is in the midst of a sword fighting contest, so he probably doesn't need saving. He probably just sort of...
What about the one we left behind?
Oh, he can probably tell you what happened to that one if you care.
Oh.
He can tell you what happened to the one that
By the way,
cluster.
if I use my knowledge, how much can I pump it up by?
You could put you can pump a knowledge up to whatever you want. You can never have more than 10 cards. Or 10 cards, 10 dice in a roll. So,
Changing the system or actually using tarot cards now?
well,
Do you have your deck of many things?
we sort of are, in a sense. So if you guys are heading off, are you guys heading off to the plane? So in case people can't tell, I think it's fairly obvious. You are now going to where the deck of long lost things is taking place. It's that universe, in case that wasn't apparent. It's not apparent, Philip. It's a fact. Okay, so facts can't have children. Okay, so are we happy with that joke? It's a pretty good one.
Pretty good. Pretty good.
So, With that, my friends, you all head off on a dream walk. Your mission this time is actually both more straightforward than usual and also weirder than usual, in that what you're doing is talking to Sherlock and hoping he joins your side. You don't even have to bring him back because he's everywhere. So,
bring him back.
As you guys begin to walk, would you like to draw from the Deck of Secrets, which is a Ravenloft Tarot deck, the Deck of Strange Things, which is a pulp-themed tarot deck, major
Stranger
Arcana
Things?
only thing, just Strange Things, and then your last choice is the Deck of Many Things, which is akin to a tarot major arcana as well, but with different signs. I just need one of you to say strange, many, or secrets, and we'll go with that.
My brand would be Strange Things. It's not pulp,
Strange
right?
things. They've called for strange many times, so we'll go with strange.
Sure.
All right. So the way we do this, Aaron usually is there to be kind of a Vanna White for this, but basically just stop me when you want me to take that card.
Stop.
Right there.
I'll trust in
This one?
Zekas' luck.
No, the one next. Nope. No.
This one.
Yes, that's the one.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Well. Okay.
Is it death?
Yeah, I
Oh
win.
boy.
Did we win?
All right. So. All right. So the theme card for your little mission reads: Ravage, violence, vehemence, extraordinary efforts, force, and fatality. That which is predestined, but not for this evil reason.
Huh.
If you notice that kind of, because they're all riffs on the stuff, there's the enslaved woman and the enslaved man at the bottom, because if you know the Rider-Waite Tarot, that's the image. Well, fun times.
Okay.
The devil. Okay, so, as you dream walk into this inner plane, you do feel a mighty sort of rushing of wind in this place. The world around you, you have been to a variety of different kinds of planes throughout your adventures, and this world does seem, this definitely feels like one of those places that is sort of more like, not even symbolic, just sort of more like this doesn't feel like a planet that has like a sun and gravity and such things. You were sort of just on a sort of like severe rocky sort of cliffside. It feels high, it feels cold, and there are, bracing winds moving past you. You also notice that there are a sort of very straight and eerie line of swords driven into the ground, so that there's maybe 1.5 feet of blade extending up and then a hilt above them, kind of just moving off in a very sort of long direction. You also, however, carrying across this airy, high area, as you sort of step out of the dream of, I don't know, someone who was just sleeping nearby, you can hear clanging of swords and sort of an occasional, the occasional kind of hoops and hollers of people as some sort of battle is taking place. But it doesn't sound like it is out for blood. You're hearing a lot of kind of cling, 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 oh, or cling, cling, oh, no, that sort of stuff. There seems to be some friendliness behind it, at least at this time.
Are we on a high cliffside, or
You are on a very high cliff, yes. Although when you look down, it seems like it just kind of goes into gray. It doesn't seem to go to an actual sort of, you don't see a
so the
world
battle's taking
below.
place on top of the cliff, or
If you give me a listen roll, whoever would like to do so.
I have only 3, but let's try. Listen. Doesn't the Ocelot have better hearing than I do? No.
I got 2 6s.
Pair of 7s.
Ooh, 6s and 7s.
Pair of ones.
1s, 6s, and 7s. All right, let's see if any of these should be weird. I mean, the 7s it's just you hear it and it's like you hear someone say a bad word and that's funny. The rest of you, however, or just all of you though, upon listening, you sort of turn around and you see there is a slightly higher peak. If you sort of follow a line of those swords to it, and then there is a very sort of like treacherous looking carved right into sort of some rock. Kind of a set of stairs, and the sounds of you go up there, and you even see, from that low angle where you can't quite make it out, you see there are some figures up there.
Right. There's no rope connecting the swords like it's a guide rail, is it?
No, it is just... Yeah.
Okay. Well,
if you'd like to, though, you could roll and investigate on the sword, like in the ground, if you'd like to, check it over.
Investigate the sword?
Yeah, if anyone would like to, if you care about them.
Sure. Is that investigate research?
Yeah, that's it.
That would be investigate research, yeah, under intellect.
I guess I'll take a quick look, though my 2 probably won't match with anything. 1 and 7, nope. They sure are sharp.
They do seem very sharp.
I will not confirm. They look
Nothing.
sharp.
They look very sharp.
178.
Perfect. So.
All right. Walk up the stairs with the wind battering us,
Understood.
or howling around us.
Howling
whichever.
around you, and once you get to the top, you do see that there are about 13 or 14 figures up here, all kind of like watching with some real like interest as a sort of sword fight is happening between 2 combatants. The combatants both, as far as you can tell, seem to be not so much even like humanoid. They seem to be presumably some kind of, whether they're elementals or fays, they seem kind of much more sort of other strange world creatures like that. But they are sort of like having at one another with sort of rapiers probably, and it's just you hear the high pitched as they're sort of doing this, and around them there is a crowd of various figures who kind of, as your eyes sweep over, none of them draw much attention. They're all kind of focused on this, save for one whom you recognize, though he is dressed in a more he's kind of has his like typical sort of like that sort of herringbone pattern, but he's wearing more of like a tunic, has not really a medieval or Middle Ages vibe, but probably a little earlier than you're used to seeing him, but it sort of has those sort of cheekbones and piercing eyes and all that sort of thing. He's it is Sherlock Holmes, and he's sort of sitting off to one side, very carefully polishing a sword.
Okay. Is he off to the side of there, or do we have to make our way through the stands to get to him?
You would have to like cross. There's not even stands. Like everyone's just standing and watching.
Just standing.
So you'd have to kind of, you'll cross in front of a few people here and there to see him, but it's nothing, nothing too wild.
All right, excuse me, down in front. Sorry.
Yeah,
Like it's a theater here.
So yes,
Sorry.
as you Sherlock continues.
I stand right in front of Sherlock, blocking his view.
Sherlock says, it would appear that you're here precisely when I expected you. Good to see you again, Dominic.
Hi there, Sherlock.
Sherlock.
Hello. See you enjoy. Oh yeah.
Nice to meet you.
Do you know these fellas?
Well, I recall Mr. Torrret. I don't really have a pipe here, which is frustrating me. Yes, but I do recall, I'm familiar with you, Cosmonocelot.
Oh, that is nice.
Oh, there we go. All right, this is
I have
Sherlock
appeared
Holmes.
from
Wait,
time
you all
to
know
time
Sherlock Holmes.
in
That's
the
right.
Versus Verse, after all.
Uh-huh.
And you appear to be the Versus Verse version of yourself, as opposed to the version from another cartoon, which I also appeared in that universe.
You were in the cartoon?
I was not in the same cartoon as you, but I appeared within that cartoon universe.
Oh, yes, okay, I see.
So, my friends, what can I do for you?
Oh, Do you know Dracula is teaming up with the Nightmare Rider?
Well, of course, doesn't everyone know that?
Well, I guess everyone in the Dreamlands now knows.
How do you feel about this?
How do I feel that? Well, my good man, I have limited feelings on such things. I have thoughts, however. Many thoughts, but those are...
We both know that's not true. You got lots of feelings.
It is needlessly pedantic.
Am I? Well, then I'll keep my thoughts and any feeling I may or may not, and definitely do not have, to myself. Besides, I need to focus. I'm about to have a great sword fight ahead of me, and it requires all of my concentration.
Whatever happened to the other you?
The me who was in the sort of Princess of Tinavar universe, the one who left behind.
Yeah, the one with the
Yes.
was it the Beatles? All 4 of them.
Oh, that's right. There were those beetle people. Asha was... Where is Asha? She hasn't died, has she?
No, she's still alive.
Oh, that's cool.
No, she is living this
Thriving.
Well, Zekas, I
Thriving,
can
surviving.
detect in your tone a certain level of concern, so I hope this has not been weighing on your conscience too heavily, not because I don't want you to suffer, but because you should not be wasting your time on a conscience. Rest assured, Zekas, that being left behind on that moon was precisely what I intended when I joined you on that
course.
mission. I had no intention of coming back with you, not after I had learned what I learned and found out what I found out. I had other matters to attend to, but I appreciate you hoping me well. Just remember, Sherlock Holmes always winds up precisely where he should.
Always.
Of course. It's elementary. So,
Doubt, but we'll leave that aside for now because it's not
press
the
X
point
to
of
doubt.
this.
Well, in any event, I really do need to focus on this sword fight I'm about to have, if you don't mind.
Who are you fighting?
The guy with 100 swords on 100 arms. You gonna fight him with 1 rapier?
No. Fortunately, I may be fighting some sort of sword-like elemental later, but for now I'm simply fighting that young lady there. And he points over at a woman. She appears to be a fae of some kind. She has sort of elongated sort of ears. She also has several tattoos on her face, and you can see them on her arm as well. They are in inks of black and red. You guys could make probably not Zekas Torrret, but
Does
okay,
she
well,
remind?
go ahead.
Does she remind me at all like the shadow elf back in Grey in the Dark
Ooh,
that had the sword?
Molly, what was her name?
Was it Molly?
Velvet
Ringwald.
something? No, the Velvet.
What?
Velvet, right? Wasn't she the... Damn, what
She
was
was the
her
one that was
name?
protecting the
Yeah, what the
fella
hell
who shot up my
Yeah,
bar.
what the hell was her name? Now I have to
I
know.
think of her name as Millennia,
No,
bless it,
it was,
Blade of Mikola, but that's Elden Ring brain rot happening.
she was Molly
Molly
Velvet.
Velvet.
Yeah, her name was Molly
Oh.
Velvet. She was the one who could
Oh.
draw the sword out, and like it's like the sword
Yeah,
was in
yeah,
the thing
yeah.
when she drew it out would be on your neck already. Yeah, like the
Yeah.
teleporting sword thing. Yeah,
Not
Molly
her,
Velvet.
though.
Yeah, he's got it.
Yeah, not
so,
her because of
it
the
is not Molly
red
Velvet,
tattoos.
no.
Okay,
Yeah.
good.
But I guess Dominic, looking at, I mean, this will give it away in the giving you the bonus. But if you wanted to, you could do an analyze and add your newly added knowledge bonus to it as well.
What, cheating at cards?
Yeah, if you want to add those, if you want to add that.
All right,
bonus,
sure.
you may.
2 8s, 2 5s. I'll choose 8.
8, sure. These all appear to be various card suit symbols from like different kinds of decks.
Uh-huh.
She is very much carded, tatted up with card
Oh.
symbols.
Queen of
And what-
Spades. Oh.
But yeah, it's kind of.
Do I see other suits like a Jack and a King of some sort?
You see like you maybe see some hearts and things, but you also see like swords or like wands or symbols that maybe are from tarot cards, and you even see tell you the other thing you see. You also see swords, stars, coins, and glyphs.
I've never seen any of those in my days cheating at cards. Huh.
This is all for my days of cheating at cards, you guys.
Right. Anyway. Huh. Can you take her? I say to Sherlock.
Well, all I'll say is that if you know me half as well as you think you do, you would do well to put a lot of money on me.
What is the point of this?
Oh, I'm simply testing my reflexes against some entities from other realms who are quite adept at what they're doing.
What does the winner get?
Get? Well, the knowledge that they're superior. Not that I need it, but I could use the exercise. I already know, but sometimes it's good to.
Are you solving any mysteries right now, or are you just what is it? Doing recreational sword fighting right
I
now?
very rarely have to solve mysteries. Typically, I already know everything. If you don't mind, I'm going to have a fight now. But, and I will tell you, gentlemen, I really need to concentrate on this fight, okay? So please don't distract me while I'm fighting with this Fae.
Can anybody join these?
Oh yes, they're open. They're open to anyone who can wield a sword. He puts his sword back into a cane, revealing that it's a cane sword.
Huh.
Do you need to hide your sword?
No, it's part of my.
No.
Don't worry about it, Zekas. Rest assured, you can bet on me if you want to be assured of some financial improvements for yourself. But for now,
DJ3 just pops in. Sure thing.
I would like to do it, yeah. But for now, I must reiterate that this is going to take so much of my attention, so please don't distract me.
Okay, we heard you.
He goes over and actually, Zekas, yeah, if you would compete, there's people you could, but for now, everyone's about to get in the fight. Anybody gonna bet on Sherlock?
So either we bet on him and believe him, or we bet against him and distract him, yes?
Yes.
I don't know.
Unless he already knows that we're gonna bet against him and try to do that, because he told us multiple times that he needs all the concentration, which is me believe he doesn't need all that much concentration, and he's trying to goad us into betting against him. And he's heard me say that because he had ears that could hear from a mile away.
Yes, but only a fool would put the poison in his own cup.
Sherlock is just smirking hilariously as he goes to take the stand. This Fey woman, she sort of steps out and she kind of puts her sword into the ground for a moment and pulls out a deck.
What is the currency here?
Cards and just shuffle.
Do we even have things to bet?
Ooh, a good question actually. If you see that people are actually betting different things. There are three things that you see being like staked at various little stands or kind of like on a stump or a rock here and there. One, you see people are just throwing down some gold, some currency. Currency is the currency of the realm, parts of the Caribbean. Two, you see on a few occasions people are drawing out cards and putting those down.
Interesting.
Three, people are in some cases. I should have mentioned a few of the people have like way too many swords with them, and so some people are like betting swords, like not their only sword, but like as if some people might use swords as like a.
Everyone here just really loves swords.
Cosmonoslam, do you have anything in your suit that we can use?
I don't know, Philip. Do I have anything in my suit that we can use?
Make a luck roll.
Oh!
No matches coming.
Actually, what you have will really depend on what, if any, match you get. Like, I'm really gonna go.
It really got close. Kevin. Pair of fantasy.
Pair of fantasy.
Where did you get these, Cosmonauts?
Okay. Adventure and wonder. We'll go with that. Okay. No, I think it still would be that, but it's gonna be what it is, but I'll make it the thing. So Cosmonauts is your sort
Wasn't
of... What? Go ahead.
Wasn't the deck of many things from Wellness?
He had 3s
Cards.
though, right? Oh, I see. Wellness Beyond the Witchlight is from that. Well, that's true. The deck of, I mean, it appeared there, but that's it. It's in most D&D systems. No, I'm gonna go with you, Cosmonocelot. You're like, oh well, and it's a little used move. It's like it's not one you use all the time, but you can like detach part of your gauntlet, and you pull out a small thing, and when you activate it, it becomes a small like energy sword.
Yes, I prefer not to break this out very often. The power cells are ludicrously rare and expensive.
All right.
But yes, we can winter this. But I think we should bet on Sir Sherlock. I think you're right. I think he goaded us. I think he is betting on himself and getting everyone else to bet against him.
So here's what I'm
Very
gonna
well.
do.
Okay.
I'm gonna bet on Sherlock and proceed to encourage him to win. That way, I lost my train of thought.
So what I'm gonna do is what we just said. Okay, perfect. So yes, so Cosmonocelot, if you kind of go over, if you assume you'll do this to the people who are betting swords, but if you bring that over, they'll kind of look at you like, what are you talking about?
And I'll turn it on. It's only red because battery is low.
Oh, yeah,
It does
well,
not mean
that's-
anything.
That is fine. We shall, yeah, I'll wager, I'll wager, and one goes, oh no, that's not a valuable thing. I'll wager a claymore. Don't, no, nothing this. And he says, no, don't listen to him. You got to do more. I'll see his claymore.
Zekas,
I'll raise you a widowmaker.
I need sword expertise.
Zekas. Let's see.
I did add a knowledge today for blades and swords.
You literally just did. Fair enough. Go ahead, Zekas. Do a that would be a calculate. It's for the value. Blades and
Alright.
swords. Blades and swords. Blades and swords.
I'm gonna throw one more on this.
Sure. Add an extra. Yeah, you got 4 for that. That's pretty good. Blades and swords. Blades and swords.
2 5s.
2 5s. Sure. Betrayal, all that tricks. It's fine. It's Dominic's doing the stuff. You're giving them the info. Yeah, they're clearly this should be worth a. This is a pretty big bet given the novelty of this weapon. So they should people should put down a few some good steel or some well-crafted steel or something. Yeah, so people put some
Keep
stuff.
it coming. Yeah.
Fine. Yeah, they put some stuff down. All right.
I put down my weapon that shoots 6 swords.
They say no.
Oh, come on.
Not interested. But that we want to see. Yes. They're sword dudes.
Should have brought that dagger.
I'm telling you, they don't know the future lies.
Or any of the vibro blades that Asha has.
Oh my god. This sword. Yeah. Who you want right with you now is Mrs. Got It.
Yeah.
Does
Oh,
she
you guys
got
want to see
it?
a real lightsaber? Here you go.
Why do we bring Mrs. Gottet with us on every single adventure?
Can't actually
She can't leave.
You can't really. The characters can't leave. It's a big thing. Anyway, point being, at this point, Sherlock sort of will say he sort of notices you betting on him and smirks, and he sort of walks up to this woman and he gives her a very curt bow, and then he prepares. And she just looks at him and she kind of, spins the sword around, sets it down. She's pulling out her own card deck and just kind of riffling through it in kind of a, kind of way, just kind of focusing. Sherlock will look at you all and say, and remember, I need utter concentration for this fight.
Why does he keep saying that?
I'm starting
I wonder.
I'm starting to think that he needs us to distract him to help him win.
Or distract her?
I think that if he he may
Can I-
thrive under this.
All right, you know what? I'm just gonna detect the vibe, see if I see what he's. If I get
Perfect.
the.
Yeah.
What is it?
See what he's putting down?
What the hell?
I see what he's
doing?
putting down. You know what? I'll just add a. What is it? Is it 3 to add a power, or is it 2?
It is 2 to add 1 power.
Okay. Yeah. 2 to add 1 dice. That is.
Yes, 2 per.
I'll
die.
do that.
2 power to add 1 power.
1, 4, 5, 6, 7. Ugh.
1,
Reroll.
4, 5, 6, 7. So you have to pay 3 to reroll that.
Yeah.
Sad news. If there'd only been a straight, you could have just reroll for free.
2 5s. Noir.
You know Sherlock is smug, but he had a 3rd degree success, and you just can't read him. And he sucks.
So he's not actually like trying to like hint at us to do something.
No, he's hinting something, but he's very happy you don't know what, because clearly you don't have the deductive mind of Sherlock Holmes.
I was going to ask if I could make, since this feels like a fight tactic, could I make a fight roll to understand this thing with my newly added knowledge of reprogramming?
We're really stretching out all of our.
You're reprogramming.
Yeah, like, you know, when you send people to camp.
That's one of
Oh,
your
that
powers.
reprogramming.
I don't think.
What is a cosmonaut doing?
I'm gonna say you cannot use
This
your
is how
fight.
I learned to be astronaut. That's how I learned to be cosmonaut.
Oh god, yep. No cosmonaut slot. I think that you still will need to use your analyze for that. But
Okay.
in addition to your reprogramming bonus, I'll give you 2 more dice from like your fight knowledge that you know
Okay.
just kind of your given your fight is so high. You made it.
Very fair. Thank you.
Yeah.
That is quadruple horror.
Whoa.
You suspect that this devilishly clever Sherlock, see what I did because of the callback, that he is likely, he does not need it. He deems this fight a very light thing, and he absolutely doesn't need to be distraction free from it because he's already plotted it out and won it in his mind, you know.
It's gonna discombobulate.
He probably kind of would want to, like, he kind of would probably want to do it blindfolded, but since you guys are here, that'll be his little show-offy thing. So yeah, it's like this is some kind of like showmanship thing. It's not about the fight itself. That's what your success will learn. At any point, he and this woman, they stand
Is that
together.
what he wants? He just wants the attention. All right.
That's what it.
I'm gonna act like, you know, the hype man sort of thing, cheer for Sherlock, using my deception roll, make it act like I'm really invested in his victory.
Oh, okay,
all that.
cool.
Also because we have money on him.
Okay, go ahead and do a deception roll or deceive roll to root for him. That's fun.
I would like to find snack.
Oh,
I assume there is food vendor for fights.
there's not really a vendor. This is a
Is everyone here besides us like actually fighting? Is
Yeah.
that kind of the thing?
yes.
Oh, so it's like a game of death kind of thing. It's not like
This
it's
is
not like a fight night in Vegas.
no.
kind
This
of
is
thing.
not like the only people who've come up here are people who are here to fight. Like
I see, okay.
this is a
Never mind.
which is not to say there's not food. Hey, Cosmonaut,
Yeah.
give me a luck.
Hey.
Cosmonaut just sees battle and expects food to like drop from the sky.
Yeah, so why doesn't
Or
food
just-
come down and you eat and
or
you get
just-
some of your percentage down?
Is there someone handing out Cracker Jacks here?
Yeah, shouldn't I get to eat the chicken and then my knockback percent goes down?
Triple fantasy.
Triple fantasy.
There's absolutely a guy in the stands walking around with Cracker Jacks.
There is a let me see, what is the oh, I know what it is. This is a dumb joke, but it's just what happens for your guys' game. There is a guy who is he has like a big jar of olives that he's eating with a cocktail sword. You know, like a cocktail sword from the thing, so he's just doing that.
God.
Yeah, could I? Would you allow to purchase olive or share olive in sort of communal enjoyment?
Do I look like an olive salesman? Well, you can share it with me, but I mean, do I really look like someone who's come here just to sell olives?
No, I just don't.
Yes. No.
I don't like to presume that people will be communal.
I'm here to eat olives. Now, I happen to pass sold these cocktail onions, but I'm not selling them today. I'm just eating those as well. And then there's cornichons.
Did you like? Do you?
When I got a sweet tooth, some maraschino cherries.
Wait. Are you? Do you make drinks?
Grockle.
Drinks?
Do you like? Are you?
You
familiar
can't put a
with-
sword through a drink, boy.
Yeah, you
Wait.
can.
You got
Can you?
olives?
All right, tell me more.
I can make a martini with my bar in a bottle.
Oh. Well, is there a sword in it?
Well, if you got a sword or a toothpick, put that in an olive, put it into this drink. That'll make it better.
Toothpick, yeah, alright. Sword.
Puts a small sword in there.
He has like a
Puts it in
cocktail
the
sword. He
drink.
just has a little cocktail sword. That's all he's been eating.
All right.
Is it okay if I use my claw?
Wow. So a bit insult. Oh, that's fine. Yeah, go on. Dig on.
And none of us are paying attention to Sherlock just fighting right now because we're focused on the olive guy.
All right. Everybody starts cheering, and the fight is about to begin. And
Seem like
Sherlock
that,
is just holding his cane, preparing to go. And at this, the Fae just rushes at him, and then she disappears and appears right behind him. And Sherlock very casually just sort of swings around, hits her with the still like cane, kind of knowing exactly where she was going, and turns and says, "Yes, I really, gentlemen, you know, you really can't distract me during this fight." She, you know, bamfs out and kind of, you know, misty steps to another thing, and he's already just hitting her with the side of it, and she's swinging the sword, and he's just ducking out.
Do you
real
want
easily.
any olives?
Oh no, I don't enjoy such crass foods as olives. Very
I'll have a
sweet.
martini once you're done.
We also have cocktail onions. That's a little
Oh.
more refined.
Oh,
Or
tell me,
Kurdish
as
ones?
he's sort of just like ducking as like the sword's going, and he hits her in the stomach with the thing. Are there any opium? Is there any opium? I can't
Do
find
you
any
have-
opium in this plane.
Do you have any opium?
What? No, I've got no.
No opium. But we
Oh,
do have
regrettable.
cherries. They're not the bright red ones. They're the nice ones and like the actual sort of cherry and syrup.
Oh,
Good
you want the
thing.
bright red ones? I got some of them too. There you go.
We've got it all, really.
Puts 2 of those on. I've got to get back to the.
I think Dominic can make a beverage for you.
Right, well, like I said, I only eat for sword. That's how I do it. This is definitely a Fae you're talking to, in case that wasn't clear. Sorry.
A fae.
Some kind of Fae creature who's a.
What if like you just try to balance glass on sword and use it to like tip it into your mouth?
Alright, now I'm gonna yes and that idea. Or what we call is slash that idea. And what if I had a drink what was in a bag or a skin, yeah? And then I stab it and drink it out of it, because then I got it from the knife. It's sort of-
Oh yes.
What if you take that bag, you flip it up with your sword, and then you stab it and catch it with the sword, and then you drink it.
Yeah, alright, I see. Okay, now, based on how you're
Oh,
dressed.
if you have like a sword, if you have a sword that has like that blood groove,
Yeah.
it could just be like almost straw.
Right, alright, now these is good ideas. Alright, that's fine. Maybe I'll bring that for me next, my next sort of fight here. Boo! Take the sword out! This is boring! And everyone's like, the whole crowd is booing at Sherlock because he's winning without the sword. Sherlock says, anyway, gentlemen, yes, please stop distracting me about these things. I'm missing how the crowd is dissatisfied with my decision to win this sword fight.
These
without me
olives have
drawing my
blue
sword.
cheese inside.
Oh,
Sherlock.
that is revolting. Blue cheese. Disgusting. What a bad idea. But then he'll knock her back, and then he'll unfurl his cane sword, and now he goes on the offensive, and she's like getting back at him, and he goes, so anyway, I don't want to be distracted, but it just occurred to me that you're probably here, you know, to discuss with me about some sort of possible alliance about the Nightmare Rider. Is that correct? As he's just
More or less.
beating her. Yeah.
Yes.
Well, suffice it to say, I am not totally opposed to the possibility. You have shown yourselves to other versions of me to be rather adept at certain things for, you know, dullards as you are. Those of you who are not sort of as mentally brilliant as I, Sherlock Holmes. And the lady she disappears once again, and Sherlock does a triple backflip and lands on a rock and is out of her way. The point being, provided you give me absolute authority for operational design, and you listen perfectly to everything I suggest, I think I could be...
We
I don't
can't
think
promise
that's gonna-
that. No guarantees on that.
Well, then...
You can ask your other Sherlock about
Well,
The
we
way
can
our work
absolutely
works.
promise to listen to what you have to say.
Yes.
You cannot guarantee. that we'll follow
Listening to me
anything you say.
simply listening that certainly wasn't doing it enough. Everyone, I can make anyone listen to me simply
mean,
by talking
you should
very
know.
authoritatively, and it's simply very simple.
You should know this group already, and know that what you ask is not possible.
I understand, but that's why I'm asking it. You see, if you want something as brilliant as Sherlock Holmes in your permanent side, you need to give him the respect he deserves.
But we don't want you on your permanent side.
What
We just
if-
want
what if,
you on our
like,
side
for-
until we defeat the Nightmare Rider.
What if for lease?
Well, you see, my friends, if you think that the Nightmare Rider is the core thing behind all of this, he kind of like knocks that lady back and he twists her sword out of her hand and she lands without the sword and he grabs her sword, sticks it in the ground, and the crowd kind of just begins to shake and he sort of shakes his cane sword off and says, "If that is what you think, my friends, you need my assistance more than I realized. If poor Henry Lovestone is still..." Puts his cane sword back in. Now it's just a cane. The lady just kind of grumbles and sort of she misty steps back up and pulls her sword out, but the fight's over. And Sherlock will walk over and say, "If old Henry Lovestone still thinks that it is the Nightmare Rider who is his main foe, or that that's all that's going on."
Here's an old-fashioned.
Who are you handing that to?
Sherlock. He just finished fighting, so here's an old-fashioned drink.
Oh.
What about us?
Well made, I have to
What you
admit.
didn't ask. Okay, here you go. Which cocktail do you want?
We'll take an old fashioned there too.
This is
Bud Light.
from the noir
Bud Light?
realm of the...
I don't serve beer here.
It is the Grenadine universe, is it not, that this comes from? A magical concoction thereof. I can tell by the unique flavor of these bitters. They have been crafted.
You know what? I
in
forgot
some-
exactly when I got this thing.
I would like vodka martini with the cornichons.
A mule, I suppose. Yeah, sure. I don't have preset amounts of cocktails. I can't make any custom
That
ones.
is fine. If you just give like glass of vodka, I can just add the things in.
Sure. Just
Great.
put pure vodka in there.
Great, and I'll
Hang
just
on.
start like dumping cornichons and olives into it.
Goes up, well, no, there's no... But eat it like a sword, like I said.
Sorry.
Drink it with a sword. Alright, yeah. It's almost
Alright.
something. Oh, it's
Anyway,
my turn to
It
fight.
is also I'm a cat, right? So it's like a
Yeah. You're here.
Anyway, while Kaufman Ocelot's doing that adorable thing. So yeah, so you're saying
Not bad.
that the Nightmare Rider isn't the big boss. It's just a horse that happens to ride nightmares.
Oh, Dominic, for a detective, you are remarkably
I'm not that kind of detective there. I get
understand.
detected by being beaten up.
precisely. And
Everyone keeps mistaking me as someone who actually figures things out.
I will say, in your defense, Dominic, I respect that kind of detective far more than a detective who thinks he knows what's going on and does not. You are the second best kind of detective. Well, third best kind of detective. The first best kind of detective is, of course, Sherlock Holmes. The second best kind of detective is a detective who
I'm
is
partial to Columbo, actually.
Columbo.
Yeah.
Now, I am familiar with Columbo, having been on some of the Earth planes and witnessed this. Columbo is a
borderline master mage.
Have you been to the Columbo dimension?
The Columbo, suffice to say, Columbo is. I am not impressed with Columbo's actors.
It's really hard to leave. Every time you try to leave Colombo Dimension, they go, wait, one more thing.
Yes, revolting. Yes, never get out that. The other thing about Columbo is that it's not very impressive because they tell you who did it at the beginning. It's always apparent who the murderer is right from the outset, and then it's about how will Columbo catch him. And the answer is, well, of course he will. If he's half a good detective, he'll know. Point, however, gentlemen, is that if Henry Lovestone wants my help, he will have to grant me authority over his team to use as I see fit. Rest assured, the Nightmare Rider and the disruption to the dreaming that he has seen will be averted to sweet. But there are other things that must be done as well. Think of the Nightmare Rider as a symptom, not the disease itself. If Henry can pass out the meaning of that, then perhaps you are all worth working with after all.
Before we agree to that, Can we be assured you won't be using us for any extracurricular activities, like, for example, smuggling some
Opium.
substance that you might love a lot?
Oh, I don't need you to do such things. I already have networks of people who can get me anything I want
Oh.
anywhere I want.
Oh,
I don't have opium. I do have, and I like will reach in I was like, they told us to like take this for long nights, if we need to like get through like multiple day shifts.
No, I don't want that.
Okay.
Not interested. That's Junior League. So, point being, that is my terms. Take them or leave them.
We'll give you as much. We'll listen to you as much as we listen to Henry.
But
We'll
that won't work for me at all.
Well, also we have to. We cannot agree. Like Henry has to
Well,
agree. We have to.
No, to be honest with you, this
We can-
dealer's
we can
universe
deliver
into
you.
which I have recently inserted myself it's an interesting place, doesn't really have much use for me in the material plane. And I will say that this sort of dealer's cluster has more interesting other planes than others. These inner planes not being elemental in nature, but instead being made of the suits of cards is interesting. And then there is also this plane, the Wild Card. I don't know if you've heard of that.
What?
That's where I believe actually that is where you were. That's the plane you were voting to go to last week because you were like, that'll be a casino. It also wouldn't have been a casino. But the Wild Card is a strange dimension hidden within the cards of reality. In any case, Sherlock is saying, but at this point Sherlock will say, so yes, I'm perfectly willing to cede my time here for now, and I can come with you directly so that I can converse with
fantastic.
you more
I put my hand on shoulder.
Wait,
on
wait,
Sherlock's shoulder.
wait, not yet.
Oh, right. It's been so long since I had the book. Come with us outside of everyone's.
But also, I need to go collect my swords.
Gotta get
Oh.
his winnings.
Yeah, gotta get
Oh,
the
there's
winnings.
The guy's like, oh, you didn't leave after all. Very well. Here's your. And they get basically. You guys are loaded up with like claymores and spy handers and just like massive, cut dudes in half swords.
Nice.
Yeah.
There's one
Zekas,
sword
do you
that is too
want any?
big to be called a sword, more like a slab of iron. I don't know if anyone knows that
I
reference.
don't know that reference, but I can picture slab of iron swords. Is that like Cloud Sword?
It's Berserk. It's a line from
Oh.
Berserk by Kentaro Miura.
There you go.
Rip in peace.
Zekas, did you enter a contest?
Oh, you're going to sword fight?
Well, I feel like I could take a lot of these people.
You do have an elvish blade.
Mm-hmm.
You're welcome to do a sword fight if you want to. There certainly are. You got some folks here. You can put your name in the ring.
But if you guys wanted to get going, then
Yeah. Let's just say we have about 40 more minutes.
I still have most of vodka drink.
Go ahead, have some fun. They
All
won't
right.
allow me to bring my 6th shot in here, apparently.
As Zekas, if you go and sort of challenge, give me a luck roll, Zekas. Oh wait, first roll your luck. Roll 4.
I did.
Oh, you
I
already
had
did.
no matches.
No matches. Cool. Then roll 3d8. Here we go.
Pierce took it all.
Pierce took it off.
1, 2, 8.
1, 2, 8. So no matches. Great. Fun times at Zekas. So my friend, I would love for you to do me a favor and roll a D. No, not that. I'm gonna do a smaller. There's a smaller list of things it could be. Hold on. Yes. No,
Are you invoking
yes,
the
yes.
rules you made for the fighting universe? You thought?
No. We won't do that silliness. Don't worry. Okay, cool. We'll stick to that. So, go ahead and roll a d6 for me, if you would, Zekas
A
Torrret.
D6.
D6.
4.
Rutro.
Oh.
A cloaked figure. These are. Oh boy, a cloaked figure who's been watching this. As Zekas kind of steps up. you hear this kind of very strange voice say, "What kind of steel is that?"
Is what?
"Your sword. What kind of steel is that?"
What kind of steel is it?
It's an elvish blade.
Oh, Elvish.
That is not found here. Everyone's like, these people have come with new kinds of swords, and one of them's like pointing to Cosmonocelot's light-up sword.
Yeah.
This figure says, "I will fight you. Blade for blade."
Challenge me for my sword?
Yes.
What? Let me see yours.
The
Crazy?
figure stands up and throws off of the cape, and what you see is a spindly, spiny figure made entirely of blades. Entirely of swords and blades. The fingers are like knife tips. The body is swords. It gestures to its sort of basically gestures to its like chest, which has these very intense blades on them. Zekas, because you have given yourself a +1 in blades and swords, go ahead and do an analyze on
All right.
yeah.
It's a sword.
You know what? You
3.
get +2 bonus on this for another reason that I don't want to tell you until after you've rolled.
Okay, so 4.
Yeah. 5.
5.
Because you get your bonus from that. You'll get your bonus from blades and swords, and then a +2 from something else.
Why is it when I'm throwing dice for fun, I get 4 6s?
Yeah.
Why does that always happen?
Yep. Because it's just the universe taunting you. How did we do, Zekas?
Well, I got 3 of one kind,
Okay.
but it was 7s, so it's very
Excellent.
All right.
yeah.
Well, then this is about to be. Then the comedy is going to come in a way. So basically, Sherlock will sort of lean over to Cosmonocelot and Dominic and say, "I strongly recommend you tell your friend not to fight one of the Knights of Blades.
A Knights of what?
These entities are made of pure blades. Now, I, of course, could best
Well,
if I
I
had
see
to.
that, but
He wants the unique elvish sword. Elves are not really a thing here. He probably, honestly, because Cosmonocelot's sword was not made of steel, he did not care. He wants this blade very badly. And so meanwhile, Zekas, as you're looking at the things, I'm going to say for the comedy's sake, you can tell that the center sword that makes this guy is a magical sword. It is a powerful magical sword that, were you to win this fight and claim it, you would have you'd have a very serious D&D type sword. You had 3rd degree success.
Yeah.
Okay, the comedy is going to be how irresistible this terrible idea is being made to you. That's what the comedy is going to mean here. So we're going to go to weapon. We're going to select sword. Okay. We are going to. I'm just going to set the rarity to. To pretty
not
good.
legendary, right?
Maybe legendary. Yeah. That's one of the things we'll be looking at it for. Alrighty. Do me a favor, friend. Could you roll first a d10?
A D10.
Mm-hmm.
I sure can.
Do you want an impartial observer to determine what sword you'll get?
Or you want it in your
Or
own
do you want
hands?
all the blame on yourself?
You mean you want to roll for it?
I mean, that way you can blame me if it's a bad one.
You know what? He can roll for this, and you can roll the d20. There's 2 rolls that have to happen.
Oh, all right.
So Dominic, give me a d10.
Unless you want to switch it around, which one?
Unless
No,
you
you
rather-
tell me, Dominic.
Yeah.
Whichever
I'll
one
roll-
you want to do.
I'll roll the d10,
Okay.
and you can roll the d20. I think you have better luck on me on the d20.
Great. So roll the d10.
All right. 1.
Kevin, roll a
D20?
d20.
16.
Are you kidding me?
That face. What did we do?
It's funny because I said he's not going to roll. He won't roll that. He literally just rolled it. All right. This is... Yeah, this one's pretty serious. This is a sword that you recognize as, it's called a defender. A defender is one of the best weapons, best sort of like swords in the game, just in terms of its kind of like utility, which is this. It's a +3. You'll get more benefits. You'll kind of get a benefit different from this, but the way it works is that it has a big bonus to your attack and damage rolls with it, but you can add that bonus to your defense instead. You can basically siphon some of it and have it be, you can put it on your armor class, so it can be either incredibly good at hitting or incredibly good at blocking for you, kind of a sword. It's a legendary level sword, very famous one. Yeah.
All right.
So if you want to win a defender from this creature, but that means he'll be using a defender against you, which means, hard to fight the guy.
As Zekas is like squaring off about this, and I'm hearing everything that Sherlock has to say, I will just sort of call out, "Hey, Zekas! It's that one guy.
What's that?
It's the one guy you were looking for."
Who? This guy?
Yeah,
What about him?
go fit him.
Okay. If you think I got it.
Sherlock says, I just want to sort of point out that I don't think you've got it, Zekas. You are being goaded into a fight because your blade is very rare in these parts. And this individual you are facing off against he often doesn't fight because he sees little challenge in sort of fleshy or fey beings. The only reason he's fighting is because he wants your sword.
Give me some pointers
And is it to the death?
to help beat this.
I have no time to do such a thing. It would take years to get you into fighting shape. And I say that knowing that you're a rather good swordsman, for most people.
What if I knew where to get you an extra special stash of your opium?
Deception roll.
Well, it wasn't really deceiving. We know a
But
deal.
do you have a stash lying around?
I'm assuming Mrs. Goddard's got spice.
That's not yours then.
Mrs. Goddard would have some spice, but might not hit quite right.
No match.
He says, if you did, we might talk, but you don't, so we won't.
Space spice.
Space spice. Spish what? No. Zekas. As your soon-to-be commanding officer in your little war against whatever you're doing, I'm suggesting you don't do this. This will be a good test of whether or not you can follow my orders. Which is, of course, necessary for my cooperation. I'm sure Henry will see a reason. He's too intelligent not to. What's that?
Wouldn't it show your genius better if you were able to get someone like me to win, who's out of fighting shape?
There's a charm persuade.
Go ahead and charm. Yeah, you can do a charm on that if you want to. Charm persuade.
2 7s. 7th of the night.
This is a very mean kind of comedy, but yes, he will say, yes. All right.
All this work will be some real Cyrano de Bergerac here, just shouting commands from the stands.
I suppose that what you'll want to do in that case is, don't. All you should do is disarm him. If you disarm and and take their sword and plunge it into the ground, you can then.
Which sword?
The sword he'll be wielding. That's the trouble.
Okay.
Do not waste a single blow against his body. All you're trying to do is disarm. Unfortunately for you, he can either disarm you or he can chop you to ribbons all along your very easy-to-pierce flesh. I also recommend not trying to turn into a giant creature, because then you won't be wielding your sword anymore. And that will sort of... He'll win the contest that way as well.
Understood.
I urge you not to do this. I don't think it will work out well. But if you prove me wrong, I will be impressed, but you won't prove me wrong.
We got this.
Very well. All right. So, Kevin, ready to go?
Hold on, I'm looking.
Gather up all your power.
Are we allowed to use magic in this?
Sure.
I was just seeing if there's anything that would be at all useful.
I mean, the problem is a lot of the spells you would use, like a plant growth or what's the thing where you gather the thorny stuff all around the people to limit their movement and everything. Like that's just this guy's gonna walk through it. He's just a walking slicer. You may be able to come up with a spell that could.
Hold on.
Could
Let
have
me take the look at the stat sheet for the bottles, bar in a bottle.
Oh sure, yeah. See if any
which
of
one
those
of
give a
those
benefit.
buffs?
Yeah. For sure, good idea. Oof.
All right, so let's see. 10 temp hit points. Investigation, intelligence, nah, that won't work. Disguise self, no. Fog cloud, huh? Elixir of health, but I don't think we're fighting for to the death, unless Elixir of health is like what, 10 hit points, right?
I thought Elixir of Health was like cure a disease on you, but does it also give you hit points? Maybe it also gives hit points. That sounds kind of right. No, it's just it cures any disease and removes blinded, deafened, paralyzed, and poisoned.
Then I guess wait, do they allow fog cloud?
You could do a fog cloud.
I think the
No. 10 temp hit points. Here's a brick flip. Get 10 temp hit points.
Sure, yeah, you can have some extra, yeah.
Could you call that 10 power?
We won't call it 10 power, but we'll say that there will be, if you do take damage, the first like 5 damage you take, you don't have to spend power on. Let's do that.
Okay, that's useful.
Yeah, it's not nothing.
All right, drink this. It'll make you as tough as the bricks. Man, didn't I see one of them get melted right down into its component parts? No, I don't think I was privy to that one.
Yeah, you heard about it. Using the punishment thing, yeah, the punishment oven.
Yeah.
The sort of knight of blades thing will say, "So you accept?"
Yeah, why not?
Come. And he just sort of, and like there's 2 people fighting and they both are like, okay, and they just move. And he stands and everyone is like really quiet. And then everyone starts betting huge on on him to the point that like people are like, no, we're not, like, I'm not taking, but one guy's like, is anyone willing to bet on this guy against the Knight of Blades? Because otherwise, there's no bet.
I will bet on Zekas.
Yes.
That was the guy choked on an olive. Let's not worry about it, guys. The point is, yes, he will. Sure, you can bet. And he says, "What are you betting?"
I will take like 3 of the nicest swords.
But not your
Actually,
laser sword?
just one.
Yeah. No, I'll put the lightsaber down too.
No, just may want to. Well, maybe Mrs. Goddard's got something for you.
He's literally never used it before, so he clearly won't be missing it.
He didn't know he had it until like the start of the session.
It's also like it's less.
It's
of
just guys. It is just a flashlight.
Yeah, it's like a utility cutter. It's like a box cutter. Yeah, just used to open his mail. All right, so with that, as you all sort of gather, oh boy, Zekas, he takes his position and he grabs the defender off of his chest and pulls it off, and then sort of just holds it right in front of himself.
Oh boy. I'll drink the thing that Dominic gave me.
Great. Okay. So yeah, you'll basically have any harm that comes to you, you can avoid the first thing. But all right. So are you ready for this first salvo? Yeah. Go ahead.
Can I put my I guess at a minimum, that little hunter's mark on him?
Sure, if you want, you can spend 1 power to put a hunter's mark upon him. So you'll do a little more. We'll add a little more sort of damage if you succeed. So he sort of, kind of like just prepares. Everyone is like really quiet. You hear nothing but the crunching of cocktail onions. And Sherlock says, "This is a terrible idea, but
This is what we do, Sherlock."
Sherlock says, I suppose actually there is one means by which Zekas could win this fight. But the problem is it is not entirely up to Zekas. It has to do with whether or not the fight can wind up being moved to that mildly slippery area where the sort of piercing foot blades of the Knight of Blades will be less useful to him for keeping his footing, and Zekas would need to take a totally... It is very unlikely to happen, but I can see that being one possibility for Zekas to somehow disarm him, because... Yeah, that's the only one I can see. Well, this will be...
Do I hear this?
You probably hear that, yeah.
Okay. Can I look at the area he was talking about?
Sure. Do an analyze and add your nature bonus to that.
2 6s.
Basically what he is saying is the only scenario where you could win it all starts with this thing being on a much like harder smooth slab of rock where he might be a little bit slippery. Yeah, sure. There's some wet slate. So if you can get him to wet slate. Now, Kevin, I'm going to tell you out of game. You have very low odds of winning this because your opponent rolls a lot of dice and has shenanigans because he's the Knight of Blades.
Yeah, makes sense.
Ready to go? Let's go. So the first, are you going to do it's just a sword fight, just straight off. We're fighting here. You ready to go?
Yeah, I think so, because I don't know what else I can do.
Yeah. You don't have a lot of magic that will affect in this situation, so it's also... Yeah. And you don't think you're going to be killed. It's more that you're probably just going to lose your sword, and Sherlock will be like, told you so. It's really just you want to beat Sherlock, which would be great. So, Zekas, go ahead and roll your fight. The bad guy will roll his. Are you attempting to do anything? I guess actually tell me what your goal is with this fight. That's a good one. We'll do that.
To move myself towards...
You want to maneuver yourself onto that thing, hoping that he winds up there, so that then you'll maybe have the thing for our
and
next
then
little
be kind of all parry defense.
Parry defense. All right, very good. Go ahead and roll your fight.
Do I add my blades and swords 1?
Sure.
I get the
in this one, by the way, having more than 1 success can really matter because 1 can be your defense, 1 can be your attack. I think in your case, you're probably going to put your defense. I'm going to assume that you're going to have your defense be higher than your attack. If you say you're parrying, so your best thing will probably be your defense. But yeah, go ahead and tell me what you've got there.
3 5s, 2 3s.
3 5s, 2 3s. Okay, so this guy starts moving like Transformer, just like crazy, and just attacking you. The 2 3. So your attacking is 2 3s.
Yeah, because the higher everything is.
Okay, so he does have 4 1s for his attack. So he does manage to, like, he is slashing and slicing at you. I am going to say that from this opening volley, all of the points that Dominic gave you from that thing are now exhausted. From the thing is you're backing up and you get onto that area you were talking about, but like you're kind of like you wind up being driven just like so it's like 1 foot on, 1 foot on, and he is not on it and is just like going crazy against you. You do suspect that at present he has all of the bonus on the attack, none on the defense. He's just trying to make as short of work as possible of you. And your attacks against him, he is easily parroting away and defending those. Like, you know, it's all in his court. Sherlock will say to Cosmin Ocelot and Dominic, "Oh, well, he's almost in the right position, but he's on the wrong side, so that's unfortunate. Good giving him that drink, though, Dominic. That almost even the odds." So, Zekas, the guy is, like, on you, brutal. You've
So
kind
I'm
of...
on the wet slate. and
You're
he
on the
is-
wet slate. I'm on the wet slate. What are you gonna do?
Is there anything behind me?
It goes for a few feet more, and then there's kind of some brush, and then there's
Like, can I back up and then he would end up on the wet slate? Or is there nowhere to back up to?
If you backed up, you'd be walking along the wet slate, so you'd have to, like, pivot onto it, then pull him, kind of, like, hope to draw him there. There isn't too far, but you'd also then be walking yourself towards an edge, and that is kind of dangerous on this thing. Even though it's not like a fall forever. You'd fall maybe like 20 feet down onto it. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. So you want to kind of try to move yourself back on that.
Well, I'll try to maneuver around him to push him towards it rather than
Oh, okay.
put
So you're
myself.
trying to move her. Okay. So, so make your roll. You'll get your bonus for the thing. You may, in this case, you may be saying you're going to be you'll need one success for the maneuvering fighting and one success for the defense, basically. So you may not be doing any offense in this one, or maybe you'll get 3 2s and you can say I'm doing a little of everything. But go ahead and make your roll. He will make his to try to put you away.
You preserve the power, at least, from the drink.
Yeah, and if you want to, you're certainly consider a lot of power. You can spend some power on this roll if you want to, or you can save it to, pump stuff up when you need to here. He will make his roll. Just keep that. That's what I'll do.
3 8s, 2 2s.
3 8s, 2 2s. Okay. Is the 3 8s in the maneuvering or the defense?
Defense.
Defense. Okay, so unfortunately he has 3 3s. So he now is hacking into you. However, because he's tied you in the stuff, I will say that you have pivoted in such a way that now he's on the wet slate, and so you can tell that he's a little, you can see his blade feet kind of scraping, and you hear this on it. So it's he's definitely a little less sure-footed here than he was on sort of the more loamy or the soil that he was just on a second ago. However, that's the good news.
Mm-hmm.
Here's the bad news. No matter what happens, go ahead and roll a resist harm. Oh no, you're not good at those. Oh dear. Well, roll one anyway.
We'll see.
Do I still get my bonus since I'm fighting against a blade monster?
Yes. Any in the immortal words of Jar Jar
2
Binks,
7s.
any help here would be hot. 2 7s. Okay.
7s again.
So the good news for you is,
Comedy.
unless I roll 2 8s on these 2d8 that I'm rolling, you are not knocked out right now. So you'll be taking half.
Can I
Okay. Go ahead.
give the meanest look at this sword monster? I don't think he'll be intimidated, but I'm gonna try to
Go ahead and do an
manifest my
intimidate to
intimidation
the
aura.
sword. Go ahead and do an intimidate to the sword monster. Okay, Kevin, you lose 4 precious power,
Okay.
but you are still up. He is now, however, on the wet slate.
2 3s. I just from this distance, I don't think that'll be enough to intimidate
He
him.
is not even aware of you. You are not intimidated.
Ah,
However, one of
jeez.
the people watching next to you looks at you and goes, "Oh God, oh, ah." All right, he's on the wet slate. Zekas, you've been you've gotten some really front your cloak's been cut as he's kind of here there, but he's kind of moving onto you. But he is now on the wet slate, so you can attempt. Sherlock says, "Oh, got him on the wet slate. That's interesting. Well, at least he's trying to fight smart. But the question is, will he be able to?" And he kind of, sort of just expresses the need for you to sort of disrupt him, so you can just work entirely on disarming. So basically, you're gonna have to make the decision between is your primary thing here going to be defense or disarming the guy?
Got it.
Yeah. All right. So go ahead and make your roll. Time to duel.
I had the thought to just shout, what is it? Let's go, Justin! And then you parry every one of his moves. If you know that.
Oh dear.
Is this a situation where I'm gonna die if I use my power, or he'll just disarm me if I lose my like if he hits me and I'm out of power. Because that'll depend on if I use this last bit of precious power for this roll or not.
Okay. Well, I've already rolled, which, you know what? He has no need to hurt you. He just wants your blade. So
I might as well go all in.
Between this and between the fact that, wait, there's a healer in the party, so you're fine. Oh, the healer's you. The point is, you suspect you can fight, even if you suspect you can just fight as hard as you can, and if you're knocked out, someone will save you, you would hope. Somebody will give you a, you should have put some good berries in your, you should have
thought about that later.
There's people always talk about the hidden good berry, which is, I had a ranger once was describing, and he said he'd seen someone else do this, but a ranger basically, he said, on my turn, I put a good berry between my teeth, and then I jump and I tackle the guy and knock us both off of the 40-foot drop onto the ground, presumably killing us both, or like knocking us both out, but then I'll bite the good berry and have one hit point. I was like, that's funny. That was an AL.
That's pretty good.
Okay, so Zekas.
If that was gonna happen, I'd resolve eating the good berry first, then do the thing.
Yeah, you'd have to like roll to not bite the good berry on, like in the jostling, because the worst is like, oh shit, no.
Nice try.
Yeah, too soon.
All right, I will give it my all here. 4 4s and 2 3s.
That look.
What was your 4 on? The disarming?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll tell you what. In that case, you noticing that he's a little like slick on the stuff, and
I'm at 0 power.
And you're at 0 power. What was your second degree one?
3s.
But two of them?
2 3s.
Okay, that's good. Okay. I'm going to say that he is choosing to disarm you as well. So you kind of like, you basically try to like put your sword into his sword, to kind of like flip it away. You're kind of doing it, and you actually feel some give in the sword as you're like twisting it, only to realize that he is also twisting his sword. And for this moment, and he does kind of like slip almost, like his whole body's kind of like moving up. And for a moment, you're like, oh my God, I think I've got it. You're just like trying to like spin him as much as you can, and to try to like yank the sword back. And it's only as you do that you feel your own sword slipping out of your hand. As he has actually like spun all the way around, and though he lands like in a clatter, kind of like on the sort of thing, he still holding his own sword, or kind of like, grasping his old sword in the air, he sort of takes yours and plunges it.
Can he plunge it into slate?
He can't plunge it into slate, but he will instead, taking your own sword, this feels like a pretty definitive win for him. He just plunges it within his own ribcage.
Okay, I guess that counts as plunging it in
and
something.
it's kind of like, that kind of count. Yeah, for this guy, that counts.
And I knew it was a bomb. No.
What? What'd you say?
The sword was a bomb, and you just
beep, 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 beep. Then like
Casino
3 shots
Royale.
of him exploding from different angles. Yeah.
But then all the swords like fly into the stand and start taking everyone out.
And that is the end of this party.
Yeah. That was a nice dream you had there, Zekas, for how you could have possibly
So Zekas
won.
basically, as he sort of takes your sword, he kind of looks at you and says, "This feels interesting. Elvish steel, you said it was called.
Yeah.
This will require more study." He kind of just goes, and everyone's like... And then the guy who you would bet with Cosmolasa just going... kind of just taking the swords for, And Sherlock says, "So, are we still want to waste any time? Anybody else want to fight a construct?"
Give it my best.
I suppose you did, Zekas, and I do realize that you overheard some of my advice and attempted to make it as well as you did, which I think very likely saved your life as you sort of chose the area and made him focus on disarming rather than disemboweling or beheading, which is typically how they would operate. So, not a terrible show. You're alive, it's surprising. But
Get more of those blades.
what's that?
Probably get more of those swords too.
Oh, yes. I mean, was it?
I also
enchanted?
still
Was it
have
magical?
5 or 6 different swords here if you want to just...
Oh yeah, you still do have some. Yeah. But in any
Take your
case,
pick out of one of them.
whenever you're ready, I shall return with you. Shall we
All
go
right,
see-
everyone huddle outside of this place, and then I'll
Yep.
rip the page of the book.
Great.
This one turns to fire.
Wait, so what did he have on that final roll?
He had 5 1s
Oh,
and 2 5s.
Almost.
So yeah. He's the problem with him. I mean, you're
Close. It's close, though.
there. Yeah, you're no. He only ever beat you by 1 every time. But because
yeah, feels right.
because he's a sword person.
He's
Basically,
a sword monster.
He's a sword monster. He has a very big sword pool. He was using some of his own power to max it out. And as a sword monster, if there's one thing sword monsters get as an asterisk for their late
It's-
retcon die, it's sword. So he was getting
Yeah.
a free change every
Yeah.
time. So there you go. Yeah.
Oh.
So with that, you guys return with Sherlock. This Sherlock, who's kind of this sort of, sort of different kind of card gambling sort of, or this different sort of Sherlock. His vibe is different to some of the others. He's a little more like rough and tumble, but he's still very arrogant.
Sure.
He has his sword cane with him, and he'll walk up and say, "Oh, Henry Lovestone, how fortunate that you sent such persuasive individuals to plead your case that you'd like me to take over operations on your behalf." Henry says, "And what is it you actually said, everyone?"
We just asked.
I gave him the
herself.
summary of
Sure.
yeah. Basically, he thinks that there's someone working above the what is it? The Nightmare Rider, and he wants to take control and do that.
Yeah.
In response to that, Henry goes, "Oh, he thinks there's someone working above the Nightmare Rider? Oh, that's elementary. I knew that already, of course." And Sherlock goes,
All right, you two, why don't you two just kiss, get along, and figure out what you want us to do later? Since you both know what the other one already knows and what the one doesn't know either, just share notes, unite.
Sherlock says, "I am willing to share notes, of course. It will probably be educational for you to see some of my thought processes." Henry's like, "Wonderful. Yes, well, in any case, I am interested in your sort of strategic thoughts on this. Yes, Cosmonocelot."
Oh, Henry, what would you like me to do with these? And I just drop like 10 swords onto the ground.
Oh,
Any of these you like, Zekas?
Oh, you're muted.
You're muted.
Are there any blades that were close to the one that I just lost?
oh wait. Well, first of all, I have to do this to your Elvish Blade. We have to do a
Delete it.
no, not delete, just to strike through.
Ah,
Just
I
so
had a
you know.
dagger too, but
Oh yeah, you still have an Elvish dagger, so it's like you have no Elvish steel. Of these, make a luck roll, Cosmonocelot.
Ooh.
If he rolls a really good success for you, then
Sunblade.
you can have a cool sword in there.
What a Sunblade against Dracula.
there's
Just
an
like old
there's an Elvis
times.
blade in there.
4 3s.
4 3s,
What the?
and
Oh,
what
and it's
what
fantasy.
is 3?
Fantasy.
Fantasy.
Are you kidding me?
All right.
Everything's coming up Millhouse.
Everything's really coming on Millhouse. Zekas, you look through. We'll probably say Zekas. Zekas, you do like a look through, and you may just be like flipping, and then you like pull back and pull one out. It is a. We're not gonna like mess because you already use physicality for your fights. So it's not like we're doing like the D&D like rapier versus whatever stuff. It's more like a long sword. It's like a hilted long sword, not the kind of the sort of curved elvish blade. It's a more sort of two. You can still do it one hand or you can do two hand, but it's more that thing. However, It is magical. It is an enchanted one. And Henry's like, well, I mean, I suppose Zekas wants that. I don't think any of the rest are magical. Zekas, alright, well, Jesus fucking Christ, hold on. Ka, roll another D10.
Alright.
Come on, Ka.
Let's make it a Sunblade against Dracula. Let's do it. Let's press a strat again.
These are not going to be that high of level. These will be
come
lower level rarity.
8.
An 8, eh?
Very lucky in Japanese culture.
Oh.
Sunblade.
Is that Hachi?
Hachi, yeah. It's 8 because their kanji is a mountain and their symbol is Mount Fuji.
There you go.
Yeah.
Okay. Kevin, roll a d20 if you would.
Oh, okay. 5.
Alrighty. Oh, man. Shoot.
What did we give him? What did we give him?
Cursed.
If you had... No, it's not a cursed one. If you had just had this in the last fight, it really would have helped you. You have a sword called Shatter Spike, which is it's basically it's like a magical thing, enchanted thing. If it hits an object, it's automatically a critical hit. So hitting a sword guy, you would have automatically been critting against. And
that would have been helpful.
Damage from non-magical sources cannot harm the sword. It can't be harmed by anything that isn't magic itself. There will be some mechanical...
This the whole time.
Yeah. He didn't have it the whole... He just had it. He's had it the best.
No, we won this because of your expertise. So you should.
I'll pat Sherlock on the back. Thanks, Sherlock, for helping us get this armory.
Oh yes, of course.
Did you know?
Of course he did.
Well, of course I did. I assumed you did. But more the fool me, I suppose.
And Dominic is sincerely very impressed with Sherlock. And he's gonna go ask Henry for all the collected works of Sherlock Holmes, and he's gonna read them.
Very good. Go ahead and make you get a +1 bonus for your fight with this sword. So you can, if you want to, you can either apply that to your fight, but the problem is you don't want to do that since you also shoot, arrows. So you may want to do a custom, say Shatter Spike, and that is a 6. Shatter Spike fight, or however you're gonna do.
Shatter Spike is the name.
Yeah, is the name of the sword. It's from Tales of the Yawning Portal. I don't remember it.
Yeah,
I don't know where it's from.
I remember this.
Dominic. So as Dominic asks to read up on Sherlock stories, Henry will sort of turn to you all and say, it is unfortunate that he's here, but I'm sure he will provide us with some...
What do you mean unfortunate? It's great to have him here. I'm glad to have him as the commander.
And Sherlock will say, as I said, Dominic, you are... you actually are, in fact, the second best kind of detective. The first best kind is called Sherlock Holmes. The second best kind of detective is one who simply listens to Sherlock Holmes and does as he would do. The third best kind is one who fights who solves things simply through violence and doesn't pretend to be a intellectual and fail miserably. You are both 2 and 3, which is quite impressive.
Oh, it's on 5.
The higher the number would be, the further away. But that's elementary mathematics, my friend. Don't worry about it. Not your forte. Henry goes, wonderful, everyone. The best part of this is how similar we sound. So it's so easy to always know which one of us is talking at any given time.
It's pretty easy to tell with the amount of snark.
Yes.
Snark? You think I put snark into what I say?
I didn't say which one it was.
Do you?
You just assumed.
I am Sherlock Holmes. I never assume. Or rather, when I assume, I have already deduced, I have already inferred. And therefore, whatever I deduce, assume, or infer is already right, because it is the case. Otherwise, I would not deduce, infer, or assume it. Right. Well, could you deduce, infer, or assume your way into what our next move should be? And we can sort of see what the divinations have to say. Divinations! No need for that anymore. The time of you sort of listening to these divinations and letting them suggest your moves is completely over. Sherlock Holmes knows exactly the next move to make. Henry says, oh, does he? Well, interesting. Sherlock says, come, let me tell you precisely what's happening. And he sort of leads you all on to pontificate.
I'm following.
Yeah, Dominic's like... So, what's that Sherlock just said there as we end this session? Did Sherlock just
Congratulations, audience.
Did Sherlock just say you voted? Did you guys vote yourselves out of office? Is Sherlock saying you don't even get to vote for the mission?
So this is how democracy dies, with thunderous applause.
The answer to that is no, not exactly. We will still continue having votes. However, the votes will now have a Sherlock's pick. And the Sherlock's pick vote will have a sort of will have a sort of edge in voting. In other words, that if the vote is close, the tie might go to the Sherlock's pick, because you've knowingly chosen an irascible, arrogant jerk as your ally. So that's how it'll work out. But thank you all for watching. This was great. Zekas, I'm sorry about the fight, but I'm glad you lived and you wound up getting a better sword out of it.
Yeah.
I'm very excited for like every time Sherlock's pick. It's just like in the poppy fields of.
Yes, the first thing we have to do is we have to go to Detroit in the 1980s. There is a police locker.
We go to China when the British decided
that
to.
One. There's a war in China. We need to go for the whole war in ancient China. When else? We need to go to the realm of Oz. There's a field there that we just need to just put our faces in. That's very important. What else? We have to go back to the Oatenverse. We need to speak to the Muffin Man, specifically about his poppy seed muffins.
I was gonna say, yeah.
Sorry, you were gonna say?
No, that's what.
Oh, you already.
But I was gonna use a Seinfeld reference to get to the.
That's what I was using. I was just keeping it in game.
Yeah.
Well, everyone, thank you for watching. This was fun. We have some other games on the channel.
Right.
On Wednesday, join us for another game set in this universe, although on the material plane, not with this going on. Maybe they'll eventually make it to some of those cool inner planes or even the wild card, but for now, they're a little smaller scale first level characters infiltrating a little fort. On Friday, one of our few remaining episodes of Blood from a Stone, episode 167. We had a huge reversal of fortunes a couple weeks ago. We just had a massive reversal of fortunes the other. It's really fun. And
so you're back to where you started.
No, we're back. It's chaos is what it is.
Did you reverse the reversal of fortunes then?
That's fair. We had one huge reversal of fortunes, and then we had a trapdoor of fortunes. So in other words, it's very topsy-turvy. Huh. On Sunday, I'm gonna announce this in a nebulous way. Here We Dragons did end, in case anyone was unaware of this. Here We Dragons, after 66 wonderful sessions, has ended, came to quite the
fantastic.
The interesting ending, and I just
killed all the Jedi.
Elon is somebody else. Killed all the Jedi?
Kinda.
You know what? We killed their spirits, but not all their spirits. As we've talked about, all 5 characters had radically different emotional truths at the end of it in a way that is not usual for a game. Typically, you win as a team or you lose as a team. In this case, the five of them are not on the same page. It's fascinating.
It was incredible.
So that's where we're at with that one. But we're still going to be playing on Sunday nights. We're not even going to take a week off, I think, because Vonda, understandably, was requesting some Halloween horror kind of stuff. Now, we get plenty of that on Friday, but I mean, come on, it's October, and it's Domtober, and it's
Rocktober.
It's Rocktober and Scaretober, and
It's what Tober?
It's Tobertober.
Huh.
Topher?
Tobertobers. Welcome to Tobertobers. Every October. Bootober. For Sophia, for a second, I thought you said Boobtober. And I was like, Boobtober?
Are we in
Because you were just talking about Blood from a Stone. That's why. In any event, we're going to be doing some horror stuff on Sundays.
I've already let people know who are involved, so I will go ahead and mention we are going to be using the storytelling system, which you have seen a little bit in Blood from a Stone. It is what they use in World of Darkness games like Vampire the Masquerade. Although I cannot tell what the current games, like the current thing, because they have the storyteller and the storytelling, and they are very similar but mildly different. It's a D10 pool. Whichever one we're using, it's going to be a little bit custom in its own sort of vibe. So it will be kind of a gothic horror sort of vibe. I'm very excited for that. So join us on Sundays for that one. And yeah, I don't know what the name of it'll be. I bet it has the word monster in it. That's my guess.
Monster Mash.
And then a week from tonight, we'll see if Sherlock's pick is the winner, or if the other option will be if you guys will straight out the gate, you will reject the advice of the person you just went and got, which kind of feels like what this team would do. So yes, please.
What's what I tried telling him?
Yeah.
I mean,
Look,
I would vote for Sherlock's
yet-
pick.
Here's the thing.
I don't vote though, but I would.
Our methods get results. We have a 99% success rate.
That's true. So yeah, join us for all of that fun. Go to our Discord to watch old episodes, our YouTube to see YouTube to watch old episodes, Discord to interact with us. I flip those a lot, and that's a problem. The wiki to see how all these games go together. Definitely, go to the About page and see the stuff I've doing. You can go to cantripcandles.com and buy the adventure triptychs. I wrote the adventures that now come with those, which is cool. Anna's book, I don't have handy, but get Anna's book. The Eat Happy Italian. It's very cool. Yeah, I don't know. Anybody else want to plug anything or say anything, or Manzukas anything?
I don't have a particular plug because I don't know exactly when the next thing is happening. Sometime this week, Andrew and I will stream more Lorelei and the Laser Eyes. Stay tuned for that. But I will Manzukas. And it does feel like I kind of thought of something totally appropriate with a decent amount of sword fighting, I think. And it is going to be actually, and I don't think Phil's like nodding. I don't think it's what Phil's thinking.
What do you think I'm thinking?
I don't know. I don't know, but I feel like you're not expecting me to say The Count of Monte Cristo with Guy Pearce and Jim Caviezel.
Oh wow, I remember that.
Which is like a shockingly good movie.
What year is that?
2002.
Okay, there you go. I totally remember that movie.
Bram Stoker's Dracula.
And
I thought you were going to say
then.
Highlander, because what the fight up there where there's some people around is kind of
Sure. Yeah.
And if you want an anime thematically similar, there's Facing Night Unlimited Blade Works.
And chat has recommended Knight's Tale and Princess Bride.
Yes, I also thought about Princess Bride, but I try to make them not as like I already made a reference to Princess Bride while we were playing the game. I know my recommendation last night was a Best Picture winner, so I can't say that I try to make them obscure, but all the time. But I try to go a little off the beaten path with these.
Yeah, and then I suggested a Best Picture loser last night.
Yeah.
That lost.
But when you said that, I went, that was the out of focus picture that did not come into focus for me to make that. Yeah.
Well, all I know is now that I thought of Highlander, I'm going to strongly recommend everybody watch the music video for Princes of the Universe by Queen that features Christopher Lambert in it. God, I fucking love that song, you guys. It's so good. 80s Queen is fun, Queen. Well.
Oh man, to give you a idea of why I love the Horror-thon so much, Christopher Lambert is also a character in the cosmology, but it is a bear head on a lamb body.
Oh, there you go.
Christopher Lambert.
Christopher Lambert.
It's many people like that.
I always thought it was Lambert, but I've heard so many people say Lambert. I was like, I guess it is.
I know.
Lambert.
I agree until that character walked out. I guess I go, okay. I guess that is the correct pronunciation.
It's French. It makes sense.
Wait a minute. Christopher Lambert, Raiden from the Mortal Kombat movie?
I believe it's Christopher Lambert is how you say it, because the man is French. Well, thank you all for watching. This has been great. Congratulations to Zekas on his Shatter Spike. I get the name! It's Shatter Spikes! Anyway, wow, I just got that. Anyway, thank you all for watching. This has been fun. We will see you next time. Until then, make sure to vote. And sweet dreams.